intersection of making art and making money. Hello and welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 129 with me, Tara Swiger. Here we help makers and artists start to feel confident in their handmade businesses, and we help you figure out how to build the business you really want in a sustainable, ongoing way. Right now we are right in the middle of Biz Confidence Challenge, which is a 6-week challenge where every week via email you get one action to take, one challenge to do that will help you build your confidence in your creative business. And then there is a new podcast episode every Wednesday, that's what you're listening to, and a webinar, totally free workshop on Thursdays where I answer your questions and help you work through any place you're feeling stuck in the challenge. And those have been so much fun. We've gotten to dive so deep. It's been awesome. If you aren't already getting the emails and the webinars, you can sign up for the whole challenge at taraswiger.com/bizconfidence. And if you're listening to this far in the future, and the Biz Confidence Challenge isn't live right now, when you go to that page, you'll still be able to sign up, and then you will be notified when it starts again next time. So let's get into it. Before we do, I want to tell you one thing. I am starting a tiny little experiment for people who love the podcast episodes, want more, they want PDFs, they want access to more webinars and more live streaming. And the tiny experiment is this. Go to patreon.com/taraswiger and read about the extra things I want to do for you if you're interested. This podcast will always be free for everyone, but people ask for more of what I'm doing here. And if you're one of those people who want more of what I'm doing here, and the Starship or my Liftoff series of classes haven't been right for you, but you still want a way to get more podcasts, more PDFs, workbooks, my book, all kinds of new things I'll be doing, go to patreon.com/taraswiger, read more about it. And if you have questions, just post there. Any questions you have, I'd be happy to answer it. Now, I want to start by saying, your hair looks fabulous today. Your business is doing so good. Oh my goodness, I love those shoes. Where did you get them? Your work is really beautiful. I really love it. Now, if I said this to you face to face, how would you react? You might have even had the reaction when you heard me saying it. What reaction was that? If you are like most women, statistically, you're probably going to deflect, laugh it off, or flat out argue with me. And studies show, which are interesting, especially in America, if you're a man or if you're an extremely confident woman, you won't do those things. Instead, you'll accept the compliment. Now, there's a super fascinating look at studies about compliments and gender, and I will link to it in the show notes and in the PDF transcript that goes with this episode. But I want to talk about this today and whatever your initial reaction was, because this week's challenge in the Biz Confidence Challenge was to do something that's simple, but often really hard. And that's, I told you, I want you to accept all compliments this week. And if you're not sure how, in reply to a compliment, you'll just say, thank you. I appreciate that. That was your challenge for the week. And then once you say, thank you, I appreciate that, I want you to stop talking. I don't want you to explain it away. I don't want you to make excuses. And that is so hard for so many of us. So our immediate reaction is to go, oh, really? I just got it. Or, well, thanks, but blah, blah, blah. So right now I'm wearing a hand knit sweater. If you're watching the video, you can see it. And earlier today, I did the webinar for last week's Biz Confidence Challenge, and people said, oh, I love this sweater. And my first reaction was to say, oh, well, I just found where I have a dropped stitch, a mistake I need to fix, or, oh, I'm not sure if I really love it or not. That first reaction is negating the compliment they gave me. And the reason why we're talking about this today, why this has to do with your confidence, is, well, just think about it for a minute. If you're constantly telling others that you are not fabulous, that you are not smart, that you are not the creator of a beautiful work, that your stuff is full of mistakes and problems, you're also telling yourself that. Your burgeoning self-confidence hears you say, oh, I'm not worthy of this compliment because it's not true that I am totally, wonderfully fabulous. And then the next time you're confronted with a challenge, what do you think? I'm not up to this challenge because I'm not smart or fabulous or talented. That is the opposite of what we're trying to do in the Biz Confidence Challenge. What we're trying to do is convince yourself and your subconscious and your very first reaction that, oh, I got this. I can handle this. As a reminder, confidence is not the belief that you can do anything wonderfully. It is the belief that you can do anything and survive, that you're resilient and you'll be okay, that you got this. You can do it. You can do it. Not you can do it and have a great return, but you can do it and you'll be fine either way. Okay, that's confidence. And when you are constantly negating a compliment, you are telling both the other person and yourself, no, that's not true about me. And not only are you feeding your own self-doubt when you reject a compliment, you're also undermining your own reputation. So this is especially detrimental in a business relationship. You don't want to tell your customer that you don't believe in your own work. Because if you don't value and you don't believe in it, then why would they? And this is the problem a lot of people have with their prices. They don't have confidence to charge the price they need to charge. And then they're constantly showing what's wrong with it and what's not great about it and what a giant mistake they made. And so it tells the customer, it communicates to the customer, this is not valuable. And you don't want to tell a retailer that you cannot get it together and that your work isn't great and that you're not sure about it, because if you don't believe in yourself, why would they? And as I'm saying this, you might think to yourself, oh, of course I never tell a customer or a retailer that I wasn't fabulous. I realize that would be silly. But if you're in the habit of rejecting compliments in your everyday life, you're not suddenly going to be able to accept one when it comes in your business life. If you are in the habit of rejecting compliments about anything, you're going to be in the habit of rejecting compliments about everything. And that's where there's a problem. And I want you to think back and tell me if you've had this experience. You walk into a craft show booth or a retail shop and it's filled with things you absolutely love. And you compliment the owner or the maker, but she dismisses your compliment thoroughly. She points out so many faults, so many things she got wrong, that you start to doubt your first impression. And at the very least, you probably don't feel confident in the person in front of you because she doesn't seem like much of a professional. She doesn't seem confident in her own work. And often you won't buy something. I've had that experience. I go into a craft show booth. I say, wow, this is beautiful. I start to look like, maybe I'll buy this. And she says, oh, that one was kind of a mistake. Or, well, it's not my best work. Or, I'm just not sure. This is my first show and maybe I'm messing it all up. You know what I do? I put that thing back on the hanger. I put it back down on the shelf. Not because it's not beautiful and I'm not willing to pay for it, but because I'm suddenly like, wait, so maybe my thought that it was good was wrong. She suddenly called into doubt my own belief that it was awesome. So that's why it's so important to get out of the habit of rejecting compliments, because you're not going to feel any different. You are not a different person when you suddenly step into your craft show booth. You're still you. And if you can't say thank you, I appreciate it about your shoes or your hair, you're not going to be able to say thank you, I appreciate it when we talk about your work. And besides what this does to your business and what this does in other people's brains about the value of your work, it's also just rude. By deflecting or dismissing a compliment, you're deflecting and dismissing the gift that the complimenter was trying to give you. They've made an overture and you have turned it aside. And I know you guys know this feeling when you have tried to bond or say something nice to somebody and they brush it off. It's like, oh, well, where do I go from here? You've now killed the conversation. I don't know what to do. Right? And it's rude because you are telling me that my idea of your value or the value of your work is just wrong. That's rude. Like if I said, oh, this is pretty color pink, and you said, no, it's not, it's blue, that would be rude. It's exactly the same thing as if I say, this is beautiful work, and you say, ugh, no, it's not. I'm not sure. Mama. It's the same level of rudeness. Now, I want to acknowledge that I know in some social circles, it's socially more acceptable to reject a compliment than accept it. But you can change that. So let me just give an example. If you're like, what? So in some social circles, especially in groups of women, it is more acceptable to be like, oh, that's a beautiful bag. Oh, this little thing? Oh, I just got this at sale at Target for $10. Oh, you look great today. Oh, really? Because I feel like crap and I haven't eaten well and oh my goodness, I'm such a pig. I know that is so common. There's actually a really funny skit by I'm blanking on her name, Amy Schumer, about this group of women, and they're complimenting each other and giving away the compliments, and like, no, no, no. And the final, like, that's funny in and of itself, just watching women continuously stop the compliments. And then one woman walks up and they say, wow, you look beautiful, you look fabulous. And she says, thank you. And all their heads explode because they could not even with the thank you. So here's the thing though, you can be the person who changes that. You can be the person who inspires others to accept their own awesomeness. And I know that you can be that person because I have been this person in a group of friends. It's not because I was super confident. It's because I was sick of the charade of it. I was sick of talking about how fat we're never talking about each other. It was always our own, how fat our own thighs were, how bad our own hair was, how lame our own outfit was. And I just one day was sick of it. And I can tell you, it's possible to change the way the group interacts just by you accepting compliments. Because it's not useful at all to tell other people. You shouldn't say that about yourself. You should just accept my compliment if you're not willing to do it yourself. When I stopped pointing out my own flaws, my friends stopped pointing out theirs. And when I said, oh, thank you, then we could go on to the next thing. We didn't have to go on about how horrible I am. Their heads did not implode like the Amy Schumer sketch, but they did start to think of me as the confident one. In college, my college roommates all told me at various times, oh, you're the confident one. Now, I was not the thinnest one or the prettiest one or the one with the best grades, but they thought of me as a confident one just because I stopped taking part in the charade. And that, they have told me, we're all still good friends years later, that helped them have confidence in things. That helped them be like, oh, maybe I'm okay. Maybe I can do this thing. So you can be the change, but only if you're willing to accept the compliments. And now this isn't just about changing the world. This is about fighting your own self-doubt so that you can take the actions your business needs. Because remember, all of this biz confidence stuff is coming down to our goal is to create a business you love, to create the business you really want. And that business requires you to take actions. And taking action requires you to believe that you can do it and be okay. In other words, it requires confidence. And while you are not going to build your confidence on other people's opinions, and we're going to talk about that next week, your confidence is only going to thrive when you accept that maybe you do deserve a little bit of praise and encouragement. So this is not about building your confidence on these compliments and saying, they like me, so therefore I can be confident. Instead, it's about not rejecting the idea that you're worthy of this compliment, that you're worthy of a great business. The first step is accepting this internally and to stop arguing against it externally, right? So we're not building our confidence. This isn't the foundation. It's not built on what other people think. We're just not rejecting that there could be goodness in what we're doing. And we're not rejecting it outward to the world because you can't possibly tell yourself, I'm confident in my work. I know I can do this and I'll be okay. If you're at the same time saying, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. No, it's really not great. Oh, I make so many mistakes. It's awful. Right? Those two things can't coexist. You're not going to become a different person, and trying to make those things coexist is really just going to like fight your confidence. So here's what I want you to keep in mind. When you accept a compliment, it feels hard. Remember that you're just not turning away someone else's opinion. You're not saying it's definitely true. You're just not rejecting that they think it's true. Because maybe your hair does look great to me. Maybe your business is doing well from my perspective. Maybe I actually love your shoes. Or maybe I find your work beautiful. If you're having a hard time accepting compliments, ask yourself, could that be true? So if you tell me you like my hand knit sweater, I can accept that it might be true that you liked my hand knit sweater. That doesn't mean that I have to suddenly decide it's the best thing ever or stop seeing the mistakes or trying to get better. I just accept that maybe it's true for you that you like it. So you don't have to believe that the compliment is 100% true. You just need to acknowledge it's true to the compliment giver. And if you have a hard time accepting it, studies show that you make a compliment more believable, and this actually builds your confidence by reframing it, by asking yourself, how is this true? So you said, I loved your hand-knit sweater. It's amazing you knit that. Okay, how could that be true? Just asking that question both helps you reframe and accept the compliment, and it builds your confidence because you start looking for ways that might be true, that there might be goodness and worthiness and fabulousness in what the person was saying. So this week, that's all I want you to do. I just want you to try it. Just accept a compliment or 50, accept it and don't argue. Just accept it and say thank you. And in the show notes, which you can find at taraswiger.com/podcast129, I'm going to share a list of ways to accept a compliment. It's from a blog post I read a while ago. I will share that link to you. It's just how to accept a compliment. If you're not sure what to say, it gives you some ideas. But when you accept it, take a minute, let it soak in. And when you do, I want you to snap a picture to celebrate the moment and then share it with us on Instagram. Use the hashtag BizConfidenceChallenge so we can all see it. And you will find there are many other people sharing their compliments. It doesn't mean you're like bragging about yourself. You're simply accepting that it might be true. Share your experience, what it was like, share how you framed it. Let us know how it's working for you with the hashtag BizConfidenceChallenge. And you're going to help other women, other makers build their own confidence. Now, if you need more help spotting and celebrating your successes, this is something we actually do every week inside the Starship. It's not open now, but you can always go to taraswiger.com/starshipbiz to learn more about it. And if you are interested in getting more podcast episodes, more webinars, more Q&As with me, go to patreon.com/taraswiger. You'll find links to all of this at this week's podcast episode, which is taraswiger.com/podcast129. Now, I want you to go out there, accept the compliments in your life, and have a fabulous compliment-filled week. Thanks so much for watching. You can get weekly lessons like this in your inbox, along with access to worksheets and checklists and transcripts from all the podcast episodes when you sign up below. You can also subscribe on YouTube, and YouTube will notify you when there's a new video. And you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. If you do, be sure to say hello or leave a comment below the video to let me know you're there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very enthusiastic day.